Is today? What's today? Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's like what time is it? 6:30. It's already super dark outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. What
Feels like
crazy?
it's the end of the year already.
Yeah. Where do you fall? Are you a keep daylight savings time or get rid of it?
I don't know. I definitely don't like the time changes.
Then you want to keep it standard.
I don't know which one I want to keep. That's the problem.
Oh, I think that we as a society are mature enough to make a damn decision about it and be done with it. Don't you? You know, like let's just be done with it. Like I think we all can agree on something and be done with it and
Here's
move on.
here's what I definitely don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. We are in
Mhm.
prime October and November. It's nice and chill outside. We're in prime hanging out outside, nice weather time of year.
Yep.
And it's too dark to do that.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
where that's where
100%.
I'm at.
I think that we should have we should all just use the Greenwich time. Like we all use everybody on the planet
Worldwide.
uses everybody on the planet uses the same time zone, same time.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same time. So we would have to adjust. Like
Right.
here it could be 6:30, but on the West Coast like it would be 6:30 West Coast too. You know, so but they would
Right.
have to adjust.
Right.
Okay, you know what? At 6:30 our time we eat versus 6:30 their time they're still, you know, like worldwide, we would have to just adjust to
Yeah,
that.
like you're
Mil- It would be
some people eat
24 hours.
breakfast at 6 a.m., other people eat breakfast at 1 p.m.
Yeah, and no, it would be the 24-hour clock. It wouldn't be AM and PMs be gone. So it'd be
Okay, yeah,
like,
yeah, that makes sense
we,
too.
yeah, so that would work. I think we solved the problems. Good podcast.
Yep, yep.
What are we talking about today?
All right. So at the end of the Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, I guess I should say,
Yeah, it's strong. Yep.
Shang-Chi podcast, you were talking about how they're teasing like Hulk's future in the MCU
Yeah.
by having him in the mid credits scene. And I'm sitting here watching these movies and I'm just letting Marvel just all these characters just kind of flow over me. You know?
Yep.
I'm not looking for anything. I don't have this rich backstory that I know could be told in the future. And seeing, oh, they're showing him in this scene. Maybe now they're gonna tell us this other story that they can tell us about Hulk or something like that. I'm not doing any of that. So when I see Hulk in the mid credit scene, I'm like, oh, they needed somebody in the mid credit scene. Why not have Hulk? There's no special significance to that for me,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like there is some special significance for that for you because
Yes.
you said, okay, they're putting him in there to show us that they're keeping Hulk around.
Yes. And there's a couple of different reasons why. If when you make a movie like Shang-Chi, you have to worry about scheduling, you have to worry about budget, you have to worry about a lot of different things. So when you decide, hey, I want to have a scene where Wong is talking to Shang-Chi and what was her name? Kim? No, was it Kim? Kimmy. Kim?
I don't remember her name.
Ah, it sucks. She's a great character. What? Look up real quick. So anyway, yeah. So we need. So and then we want to bring Shang Chi into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We want to kind of like introduce him to a grander scheme, so so he knows that he's a part of something bigger. You're going to try to figure out a way to do multiple things at once. So you could just have a random character, like you could just have like Clint Barton do it, or you could just have like I don't know, Doctor Strange, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to do it in a way that allows for another chapter to be born. It's a relay race. So at the end of the race, someone's going to pass the baton, and at the end of Shang Chi, two batons were passed. We got to see Captain Marvel again, which means okay, great. She's not just a one done character. We get to see her more later. Awesome. And then we get to see Banner, and this is a big deal. They have enough money to make it so Banner looked like Professor Hulk, where he's all green. Okay, they have enough money to make that CGI thing happen. They purposely decided not to do it. So just by showing Banner in a human form, in his normal form, opens up a ton of questions and a ton of speculations. And here's some key questions: what happened to change him back into normal form? One, two, why is his arm not healed? 3, why is he still engaging with the Avengers and doing Avenger stuff? So you these are all questions that will have to be answered at some point. And then you add in other things that we know. We know there's going to be a She-Hulk episode. I mean, a She-Hulk Disney Plus show. We know that should be true. We know 100% that She-Hulk will have some kind of connections to Ben because he did in the comics, and there has to be some kind of connections. And we also know that at some point they're going to have to make more Hulk stuff, right? And so you put all that together. You also give me the rumor that came out a little bit later of World War Hulk coming out, being in production, and then whammo, you have a lot to kind of play around with. So yeah, so you're right that as I don't want to say normal. What would you call yourself as a
Typical?
regular viewer? Like if I call you normal, that means I'm not normal.
Right. You are. Yeah. I think I'm a typical Marvel.
I'm
movie
atypical.
viewer.
I don't like
Yeah.
that either. Okay, I'll just take.
I'm the majority, and you're the minority. Let's not go with that one.
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty accurate. And so because like it's accurate because most people just watch the comics, watch the movies, and don't care about the backstory.
Right.
So Marvel has to, and I'm glad you brought this up. Marvel has to do a good job of appeasing people like you and appeasing people like me. And I think 90% of the time they nail it, which is fine. Because if they can nail it and make 90% or 80% of the fans happy, then you might have 20% who aren't happy, but Marvel's like, we don't care. Like, you watched the movie, you paid for our service. Like, I'm sorry you're not happy. Maybe you'll be happy next time. And Marvel has enough material and enough shows and enough movies to appease people left and right. I mean, just think about this year alone. How many Marvel movies did we get this year?
What's it? 4?
Shang-Chi, The Externals, we're getting Spider-Man. Was there anything else before Shang-Chi?
I think there was. Black Widow. There was Black Widow.
Black Widow.
But I feel like there was something even before Black Widow, was there?
Maybe.
Or was there not?
It probably wasn't. I think Black Widow was
Maybe not.
So we had Black Widow, Shang-Chi, we had the Externals, and then we get
Eternals. The Eternals.
Okay, I didn't mean to say Externals. But Externals are actually a thing.
Really?
We will talk about that a little bit at some point. Maybe, I don't know.
Are they related to the Eternals?
They are not.
Okay.
They are not. But we'll get to that at some point, maybe. But anyway, you have 4 different Marvel movies, and if Marvel can get 80% to like all 4, then the 20% that might like one will like the other. Like people who didn't like Shang-Chi definitely like the Eternals. And people who didn't like Black Widow definitely like Shang-Chi. Right. And everybody's going to like Spider-Man. So again, it's okay.
I hope everybody likes Spider-Man.
I think you're going to like it more than you think. I think this is going to be your favorite Spider-Man movie.
Man, I hope so.
I really do. Yeah. But anyway, going back to your original statement. So you're not wrong to think there's no big deal about what you saw at the end of Shang-Chi. But there's definitely a reason why they did it. There's definitely a reason why and they want fans to speculate. They want fans to get on Twitter. They want fans to get on Reddit. They want fans to make YouTube videos. It keeps the content and the engagement going. They want us to do podcasts like this, which is fine because it's fun. But I think also it's Marvel's. It would be wrong and irresponsible for Marvel, based off their history of post credit and post credit mid credit scenes. They have to pay. They have to pay up. Like these scenes have to do something. Otherwise, it's not right. They're just kind of abusing us. And so
it's pretty obvious just based on their patterns in the past.
Exactly.
When the mid-credit and post-credit scenes are hinting at something that's going to happen in the future, and when they're just a throwaway joke.
Yeah, 100%. So let's talk about how this World War Hulk thing can happen versus how it can't happen. I think we kind of touched on this a little bit.
So the World War Hulk rumor, I guess, is something that came out after we saw Shang-Chi.
Yes, 100%.
So we didn't know that at the time, so we couldn't have talked about it in the Shang-Chi podcast episode we did.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit though. We talked about it a little bit with Josh.
Josh, yeah,
with the Infinity War episode.
Not Endgame, the Infinity War. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me lay down what happens in the World War Hulk. Let me lay it down completely. There's a group of people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe called the Illuminati. At the time, it was Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Professor X, Black Bolt, Namor, the Submariner, and I think that's it. And at the time, Iron Man, Black Bolt, I think, and Mr. Fantastic's also part of it too. So these are all like the big wigs of the Marvel Cinematic of Marvel
So those
Universe.
are
Marvel.
out of all those names, I recognize two of them:
Who?
Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic.
Okay, so Mr. Fantastic is the leader of the Fantastic Four. I'm sorry, I just
Fantastic Four.
assumed you know. Iron Man is Iron Man. Doctor Strange, you know Doctor Strange.
Oh, did you include him? I missed that.
Yeah. Professor X is the leader of the X-Men.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Namor is the Submariner, is the king of Atlantis. He's the underwater king of Atlantis.
Okay.
So I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Tony Stark, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt. Black Bolt is the head of the Inhumans who live on the moon. It's a long story. We'll get to that at some point.
You were saying Black Bolt, and I thought you were getting ready to say the Black Knight.
No. Oh well, yeah. We have to talk about him on Sunday.
Right.
So Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, and Iron Man decide that Hulk is too dangerous to live on Earth anymore. They trick Hulk to go into a space station and beat up some kind of weird robot. But it's a trap. The space station turns into a ship, and they say, "Hey, Banner, we're sorry we have to do this, but we're going to send you to a planet that has nobody living on it, that has plenty of resources, and you'll be happy the rest of your life. You'll be left alone." They shoot him off into space, but then it turns a left into a portal and falls into a dimensional portal into Sakaar. And Sakaar is ruled by many different factions. It has a rich culture, rich history, lots of different people, lots of different places. It's really cool. Hulk there is weak.
Is the Grandmaster on Sakaar?
He is not.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the differences in a second.
Okay.
So there's actually on Sakaar, there's absolutely no one from any Marvel properties that it's all brand new stuff.
Okay.
Except one is Korg. So Korg's there. Like he's not the Korg you know from the movies. So they capture Hulk because he's weak. They put him into a gladiator academy and think he's gonna die. He doesn't. And the more he fights, the stronger he gets. He leads a rebellion, he leads a war, and eventually he becomes king of Sakaar. Now, I'm not going to ruin this for you, but the ship that took him to Sakaar, the ship that was made by Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic, explodes. We don't know why. I do know why, but I'm not going to tell you why. It explodes and it cracks the planet in half, and many millions of people die. And Hulk loses his new wife and child. They both die in the explosion. And Hulk is alone. He's sad, but some of his allies on the planet survive. And they say, "Listen, we know how to get back to Earth." And he's like, "Okay, we're going back to Earth." And he goes back to Earth with one thought: vengeance. Vengeance against Mr. Fantastic, vengeance against Iron Man, and vengeance against Black Bolt. And he flies back to Earth in a spaceship. He's more powerful than he's ever been before. Plus, he knows how to fight better than he's ever known before. And he's super angry. So, if we look at the MCU, if they make a movie like this, it's going to be Hulk versus everybody. All the MCU characters. It's going to be him against the Hulk. So what you saw, remember when you saw our Avengers Age of Ultron when the Iron Man suit fought the Hulk? Remember that? The Hulkbuster suit Hulk fought.
Right.
Remember that? That happens in the comic. And Iron Man almost beats him, but he doesn't. And so just take that scene that you saw in Avengers Age of Ultron, where there's a big fight, it destroys the whole city, times it by 100,000.
That's the one where Iron Man takes Hulk up into the sky and then smashes him down through a building.
Yes. So imagine that scene, but the Hulk wins. So it was a massive comic success. Hulk shows up and beats up everybody. He beats up the Avengers. He beats up the Fantastic Four. He beats up the X-Men. He just beats up so many people. But at the end of it, a hidden truth is revealed about the destruction of Sakaar, and he ends up kind of going insane, and then eventually he's beaten by something. It's a long story. But ultimately, the thing is, if they make World War Hulk, it's going to be the most insane thing you've ever seen. It's going to be awesome. But there are problems with this. We've already seen Sakaar, and it's not the Sakaar we remember from the comics.
Right.
Grandmaster has nothing to do with World War Hulk, right? He's already been a gladiator. So there's a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of problems with trying to get the comic back to where it was. I mean, try to get the comic story back to what it was for the movies. However, there's a couple, I think there's probably 3 scenarios that might work. Would you like to hear those scenarios?
I'd love to hear them.
Scenario number 1, the Hulk, the Banner Hulk returns. So the Hulk that you remember from the earlier movies returns, and he's framed, or the everybody thinks that they need to control him somehow, and the whole movie is about trying to capture him. That could be that could be how they could do it. A whole movie where he's just on the run, and like, so think of Captain America Civil War, except all these heroes are going after just the Hulk. That could be one.
Okay.
Two, two, there could be they could bring him back up to space again. They could do something where, especially with the multiverse, maybe he falls into a multiverse pit or something, and that's the official term, and he gets caught. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. So
Is that the official term?
that's the official term,
Pit?
a multiverse pit. So it could be a
Okay.
multiverse thing. That could be interesting. If it is going to happen, if that multiverse part is going to come up, look for it to happen at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. There's going to have to be a mid and post credit scene for that. And if the production of World War Hulk is supposed to start in 2022, so I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably going to hint at the next Captain Marvel movie, but it might have some hints about the World War Hulk. But I doubt it, but it could. Number 3, and this
Okay.
is
Before you
really
get into number 3, I'm going
okay.
with number 2.
Well, you don't know number 3.
I don't even need to know it because Marvel's all in on the multiverse right now.
Yeah,
And so I think they're picking your option 2.
I think that it could be really interesting if we get a Hulk from a different universe. So we have a completely different Hulk. You know,
Yeah.
that could be interesting.
All right, what's
And
your
this
option
leads
3?
me.
Is that
This leads to option 3.
okay?
There's a old Peter David story called Hulk Past. I forget what it's called, Past Perfect or something like that, Future Perfect. I forget what it's called completely. It turns out that this story, and this story, the Hulk is in the comic version. The Hulk is the smart Hulk. He's sent through time by accident somehow, and he meets someone who's super powerful, and he has grayish green skin and a big beard, and he's called the Maestro, and he rules the world. And the Maestro has killed Captain America, Iron Man, and he's like toughest dude you can possibly imagine. And it's like 50 years in the future. It turns out that the Maestro is actually the future version of the Hulk. And so with the
Hmm.
Hulk, the Hulk realizes, the Banner Hulk sees the Maestro and realizes that in the future he becomes like super evil and super bad, and he has to fight the Maestro.
Mhm.
It really screws him up because when he comes back to the present, he becomes worried that one point he's going to turn into that, and what can happen to make him turn into that. There's an idea in Reddit that I read. I'm going to give the link so we can give proper recognition to the guy who wrote it. That this could be the story of maybe Maestro, which he could either come back, he can come from the past to the present, or something could happen where we get the future version of the Hulk and we have to fight him. Now that makes sense when you look at Loki and all the cool stuff like that. And we got Kane coming up, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp coming up. That could be interesting. I would love to see them do the Maestro story properly. One, because Peter David is one of my all-time favorite comic book writers, and I think he's awesome. And then two, it's just a good idea. Like, just having the Maestro show up would be really cool for everybody to see the future of the MCU and how it could work. And one more thing before I let you back in. After watching after watching the Eternals, I am more hopeful for the Marvel Cinematic Universe than I've ever been, and I cannot wait to talk to you about this on Sunday because
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
have
be good.
lots of stuff to say. But there we go. So again, it could happen. We don't know. We could.
I still like option 2. I think that's what they're going to go with because it's got the
Yeah,
multiverse.
it could
And
be the multiverse. It
also,
could be multiverse. Because we could get the multiverse, and the Maestro comes from the multiverse. That could happen.
I don't like the Maestro thing because I don't like evil Hulk.
It's sad, right? It makes you kind of sad that he could be evil. Yeah. Mhm.
Right, yeah, you know how like all the Dungeons and Dragons players they talk about chaotic evil, chaotic
Yeah.
neutral, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
I think Hulk is chaotic good.
Yeah, no, Hulk's a great guy. Yeah, I love Hulk,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he's also complicated, and I think that we need a movie. He like the Hulk for the most part throughout comic history. The Hulk has been hunted. He's been tried. People have tried to catch him. People have tried to kill him,
Mhm.
and I think we haven't really seen enough of that. Like we love like the Hulk is loved the most when he is back against the wall, and everybody wants him to like go away.
Yeah.
And I think we've had a lot of runs with the Avengers where he's just objectively a good guy, but for the most part in the comics, he's always been a little bit more confusing. And the battle between Banner and the Hulk needs to be played out, and there's a lot more they could do with it. I mean, I'm going to mention the Gray Hulk to you, and you won't even know what it means, but I think that could also come out at some point.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't like that either. I like my Hulk's green.
You know, the original Hulk was gray.
I think I remember you telling me that when we were watching or we were talking about the Hulk movie.
Yep.
But
And they changed the green because I think it was cheaper.
yeah, the ink was cheaper than doing gray.
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
I mean,
Nope.
could be.
Could be. Who knows?
My printer's always running out of black and white ink, I think, or something like that.
So that's so it's all possibilities, but there's a bunch of different things to Shang-Chi that a lot of people are looking at Shang-Chi. So so real quick, we won't spend too much time. Do you remember when you watched the Eternals? You remember the big black guy who made things with this machine kind of deal? Phastos. Remember him?
Yeah.
If you look in the trailer and in the movie, he has these circular ring things that he plays with. A lot of people thought that the 10 rings from Shang-Chi could be connected to Eternals, but I don't think so.
I
But
don't think so.
they could be. So people are hinting at that. There's a lot more to talk about with the Celestials, the Eternals, and this other stuff. So again, all this stuff, I think looking at Shang-Chi and looking at the post-credit scenes and everything and trying to figure out the future is great. But we just got to wait and see. And that's the exciting thing about it. And I'm actually thinking, I thought after Endgame, when we watched Spider-Man Far From Home, I was kind of down because I was like, this movie sucks. And we'll get to that at some point. But now I'm a lot more hopeful about what Marvel's trying to do. And I really do think they're building up to a crescendo. I think the next couple movies are going to be where we really start to see some cool things. So there you go.
Yeah, I feel like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, more so the Eternals than Shang-Chi, but they both feel new and fresh.
Yes.
And like they're, I don't know, it just makes me hopeful, I guess, for the next movies.
And Mike, what's happening this Friday.
Shang-Chi is coming out on home video.
And do you know what else they're doing on Friday?
No. What else are they doing?
They're releasing the IMAX versions, so you can actually.
I did know that.
So you set Disney Plus so you can see it in IMAX ratio.
Right.
What do you think of that? Awesome. That's going to be awesome. Yes, give me that.
Is that how you're going to watch Shang-Chi this weekend?
I'm going to watch Shang-Chi alone in the living room on the couch with a blanket over my lap and some kind of popcorn chip item and a drink. And I'm going to put my headphones on, and they have Dolby Atmos on it.
Right.
And I'm super going to enjoy that movie. I cannot wait. I'm super excited. And I'm also thinking about going to see Eternals on the IMAX screen before it leaves. So I actually probably am going to do that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't want to give too much to listeners about Eternals.
Yeah. Tune in next to talk time. About. Yeah.
Oh, when is that going to be?
It'll be this week.
Yeah. Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Yeah. My friend Danny didn't like it.
Danny, you don't remember his last name?
Yeah, I know his last name.
Okay.
He
didn't like it. Why didn't he like it?
I think he needs more time to sit on it. I don't think it was just too kind of. I asked, we just finished watching it, so I think he was like, kind of a little bit. We'll see.
Right.
We have a lot of cool podcasts coming up. We have Eternals coming up this Sunday. We have a special guest for Captain Marvel coming up. That's gonna be
right.
great.
Yeah.
And then we got what else? We got we got to start Endgame at some point, right?
Endgame. Yeah.
Yeah,
We have another guest returning. Josh returning for that.
That's gonna be great. And then we gotta do Spider-Man Far From Home. Ugh.
But I think you said we're gonna do in between Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. We're gonna do a ranking.
Yes, a special ranking. Yeah, have you started your rankings yet?
I haven't yet. So we're gonna rank all of the movies in the MCU from Iron Man to Endgame, right?
Yes. Yes.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
I can't wait. Maybe you know what we should do?
I wonder if you and I are going to agree on either the best or the worst movie.
No, we're not going to agree on anything. No way. No. I've already thought about the format, and I think the format's going to work. Yeah, I think it's like
you don't think we'll agree on the worst?
No. No.
Not the best? You don't think we'll agree on the best?
We're not going to agree on anything. No.
I thought maybe we might agree on one of those two, and then everything else is where all the...
I want to make it so we don't know each other's list.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to know each other's list.
Go at it.
Yeah.
But, Mike, how can people listen to our podcast?
Our podcast can be found everywhere podcasts can be found. If you're trying to listen to us somewhere and you don't find us there, let us know. We're on Twitter at Super Sideshow.
We're also... Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead.
We're also on Reddit. I just posted a new thing on Reddit. You can find us at r/r/sideshow. We're also Super Sideshow. I'm sorry. I'm also on Twitter at jslacks. Mike's at Twitter at Mike
at MIKBRE.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're not on Facebook.
We're not on Facebook. We're not on Instagram. In fact, I deleted both of my accounts.
We'd probably get more engagement if we were, though.
Yeah, but it's the devil.
Yeah,
so
it's the devil. We can't do that. Yeah.
We're on YouTube.
Podcast. Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. This will definitely be on YouTube, right?
Yeah, this will definitely be on YouTube. Yeah.
Great. Pretty excited. Yeah. That's my favorite place to listen to the podcast. It's my favorite place to listen to all podcasts.
That just seems weird to me.
I don't care. For some reason, it's like...
Do you pay for YouTube or you just...
No. I might start paying for it this weekend so I can watch some football.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, at my mom's house. She doesn't have cable.
What's the best way for listeners to share this with their friends?
I think the best way to share it is YouTube.
Yeah.
I think so. But also, I think Apple is... If you have an iPhone, it's all integrated. So just share them the link to the Apple podcast.
Yeah. However you're listening to this, hit the share button. Tell some friends.
Tell 4 friends.
Right. It's a challenge.
Yes. Yes, 4 friends.
Yeah,
and then one day Mike might tell me our metrics so I know how many people are listening one day. Maybe.
That's right. Coming soon.
All right, Mike. I'll see you later. Thanks, man. That's great.
Yeah, I'll see you this weekend.
All right, see you this weekend for Eternals, not Externals, which is different, but kind of close.